So that doctor who came to see my brother during the day was like, he's in a coma, a 5 out of 15 coma and stuff. Now you know, such words like a coma, you go part home and tell them, oh, he's in a coma, shani. People were worried. I remember talking to one of my brothers and I told him and he just kept quiet. Like he didn't say anything on the phone.
Guys, I've got a friend show. I'm a show.
Hey guys, how are we doing? Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to today's video. So today's video is basically a story, better yet a testimony of something that happened to me, or I should say something that happened to my brother and just my family entirely. And this is like my biggest testimony of 2020 because God did a lot of things for me in 2020 that I am super grateful for, and like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. But this one thing is a big deal because I saw my brother struggle for his life on a hospital bed, and then I saw him get up out of that bed, and just it was a miracle to me seeing the condition he had been in. This story starts off at my brother and I live, the two of us, where I'm working. And then one weekend he was feeling unwell on a Sunday, and then we agreed to go to the hospital the following day. So we went to the hospital in the morning, did a blood slide, and it was positive, and there were many parasites in there. He was given Coartem, and we started to head back home. He started to complain of feeling bad and everything. We even got some water as we were going back home, and then on our way, when we got closer to home, he seemingly got worse, you know. He started to feel weak, failing to move and everything, and so he literally bent over and was like, you know, just like trying to find the strength. And then, yeah, I got so worried. I called my friend who is still in the same yard at home, like, please send your brother to come help me with him, with my brother. So she sent her brother, but we used different routes, so we missed each other. So we got home eventually. Upon reaching, my brother took Coartem, and then I gave him something to eat some minutes later, and then he was trying to sleep, right? So while trying to sleep, I noticed he was in some sort of discomfort and everything. And then when speaking to him, he started to like speak gibberish. I couldn't make words out of what he was saying. It was literal gibberish, you know. He tried to stand up and he almost fell down. From there, he just kept getting worse. He stopped really talking and stuff. And then I told my friend, like, okay, he's acting weird, like, I'm scared. And she was like, okay, I'm coming, but let's just chill a bit. We see maybe it's the medicine kicking in, considering his parasite count was high. So she came, and then he kept getting worse, started rolling all over the floor because we had a mattress in the sitting room where he was lying. So he started rolling himself off the mattress onto the floor and just, you know, really uncomfortable and stuff. And then he tried to vomit, and then at a point his jaw like locked while he was vomiting. I even started like kakamizaling him, like, vomit, don't lock your jaw and stuff, because I thought he was just doing it deliberately because he hates vomiting, but can't it was something else. Then my friend was like, okay, it's getting worse now, we should go back to the hospital. Now it's like a new year. So we booked a cab, a cab came, and like he just kept getting worse, started throwing his hands up like that, almost like he was having convulsions and stuff. His body started getting rigid. So we got him into the cab with the help of the other guys, my friend's brother and another guy from our yard. Hello, you won't believe they were a cab driver. Like, he came to pick us up. He said, entering the cab, putting the patient inside with the help of my neighbors and everything. To start shouting at him, how can you be keeping such a person at home? Shani, you can't say this person is very sick. The emotions, they were high. People were scared. People were just like, no, we are not having this. People started coming at him. People started answering, you don't know where we've been? I was like, you don't know where we've been? You don't know what was happening during the day? You were not there. How did you just reach Pakiamba Kunena and my other friends just started ponyapoling, became a back and forth. They started answering each other. Like, who does that? Who does that? People are panicking. People are watching. You start shouting at them for what they've done wrong, honestly speaking. And you don't even... It was something else until eventually the mother of the group, my friend, my nurse friend, she was like, okay.
she talked to the cab driver, told him like, okay, clearly you've seen that people are emotional about this and people are not okay, so just, you don't do that, you know. And then she calmed everyone down, and yeah.
So we got to the hospital, and he was quite rigid when we got to the hospital. Getting him out of the cab was something, you know, lifting him all the way to like the recovery room or emergency room, you'd call it. There was all that. He was no longer himself. His jaw was like stuck. I was worried, and it was scary to look at him like that because I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, the medicine should have worked. I was just like, you know, the heart, it was not there. Then I kept having moments where I couldn't stay in his presence for a long time. Some of my workmates from the lab, I work in the lab at the hospital, came over and were supportive and helping and stuff. And then those friends who came with from home, and just people were really helpful. So he needed a drug to sedate him because he started throwing his legs and hands up a lot, like convulsions. He needed something, but the stronger one was not there. And then the weaker one was eventually found. When I heard the strong one was not there, I felt like, I know that was not the solution to the whole problem, but I don't know, I was hanging on to every little thing, you know. So they gave him the other sedative, but then these sedatives suppress your respiratory system. So he started to struggle to breathe. And just seeing him in that state, it was crazy. I kept going outside to cry and to pray to God. I informed my parents that we had been admitted, but I did not tell them exactly how bad it was, because I was hoping that he would get better so that I can give a better report. I was trying not to make people go crazy in the moment. So he was put on a stronger malaria drug, and he was given that medicine. So there was all that. So he was struggling to breathe and everything, and just throwing his hands and legs up. Oh my God, I was in all sorts of places in my emotions. Trust me. I go outside, I cry to God, I pray, I declare, I do what? I go back inside, I check. I couldn't stay outside for long, and I couldn't stay inside for long. I kept going. You know, people even reached a point when I go, I'm trying to check on him, they're like, you stay away from this because this is getting to you. So eventually he was taken to a ward, and then he was put on oxygen because he was struggling to breathe, and he had secretions that were blocking his breathing, and his jaw was locked. They wanted to suction him. It was difficult. Yeah, so there was all that, and his eyes were just open the whole time, you know, but not responsive or anything. So a doctor came to see him. Kuma, was that 2401? So yeah, prescribed some antibiotics, that same sedative that was needed but wasn't there. Said he should continue his malaria drug in the morning and whatnot. So that happened, right? And then I actually had to wake the pharmacist up in the middle of the night to bring us the antibiotic. I was desperate. His temperature shot, and he was just, you know. So I was like, okay, at least if we can drop the temperature or something, because the antibiotics were gonna help, and a painkiller was also prescribed. So I had to go with the pharmacist in the night. I said, I'm so sorry for waking you up, but please. So he agreed to come. He came. He gave the medicines, and somehow they helped with his temperature, but he was still bad, still unresponsive, still having mini convulsions and stuff. And then at a point I just had to go away from everything, you know, just when he was put on oxygen, I had to go away from everything, and I just went and I called my boyfriend, and I just cried. The whole time I was trying to be strong and whatever, I just cried, and I just, oh my God, I don't know what to do, things like that. So that happened, and eventually most of the people had to go. They left, and then we were the three of us, my friend's brother, one of my workmates, and myself at the bedside. So I eventually went back in there. I just felt this urge to pray. Guys, I prayed. I kept on talking to him, declaring healing on him, speaking to him, telling him scriptures about healing, God's power over disease, shining. I prayed. And I feel like that was needed in the moment, you know. For other people, it may be you're exaggerating the situation or whatever, but I feel like that was needed, you know. I prayed and everything for like a very long time till it was morning. I couldn't sleep. I was up like the whole night. If anything happens to him, I feel like he's acting different or he's, you know, getting uncomfortable, whatever. I call the nurse, they check on him, you know, things like that. What I was holding on to that night was the next dose of the malaria drug in the morning, which I was hoping would make things better, you know, at least he would gain back consciousness or something. At a point in the early hours of the morning, he started to struggle to breathe a lot. Oh my God, I was so scared. I started running up and down looking for the nurse. The nurse was nowhere to be seen. I just went back in there and I just prayed again. I just looked at my brother. I was holding, like, oh my God, it was something. So that happened, and then like my friend and I went hunting for that drug that we needed, like sedate him, because the one he was given didn't work at home. It didn't really work. We went looking for it. We went in drug stores. We did what, even reached a point where, okay, so in the morning, that's when I told my family, like, it's bad. This is how bad my brother is. This is how bad he is, Shani. Then everybody at home decided they would send our elder brother here to help with the situation. So yeah, we went looking for the drug. We couldn't find it until eventually we found it in one of the clinics and came back with it, and then he was given. There was some good response for a few minutes, and then still nothing changed. My brother had gone into black water fever. He had stopped urinating. Oh my God. So we had to call the doctor, and then the doctor came sometime, was it in the afternoon or somewhere noon anyway? The doctor came and the doctor said, this is a referral case. We're referred to Mansa General Hospital from Chelenge at St. Paul's Hospital. He said there was some, is it liver or kidney damage and things like that. And then we were to travel like that very afternoon. When we were told to travel to Mansa at about noon or so, our elder brother in Saka had started off coming here. Right, it's a long drive here. It takes about 15 hours. We start off at like 05 or so. You get here like at 19 or 20. Yeah, so in buses coming from there to here, a direct one start off very early. So it was already late by the time I was telling him, everybody at home, how bad the situation was for somebody to start off that early. So somebody started off around, is it 12, 11, somewhere there, and then was only going to arrive here the following day in like around 10 or so. But then there was this transfer thing, and the bus was going to sleep in Mansa, the bus that my older brother got on. So we decided we'd just meet in Mansa. So that doctor who came to see my brother during the day was like, he's in a coma, a 5 out of 15 coma and stuff. Now, you know, such words like a coma, you go at home and tell them, oh, he's in a coma, Shani. People were worried. I remember talking to one of my brothers and I told him, and he just kept quiet. Like, he didn't say anything on the phone until, like, I don't know how long he was quiet. Then he said, okay, and he cut the line. I told my parents. It was crazy. So we got we got referred to Mansa General, and then when traveling to Mansa General now, I was in the front and he was in the back with like nurses and stuff, and I think 2 other patients or something. I was just praying to God that we would arrive. So the driver who was driving us is kind of a loud guy and was talking a lot. Oh, and I should mention this, 2 of my workmates actually went with us to Mansa. Like, they literally left their homes, their families, just to give us support. I am forever grateful. Yeah, so we're traveling to Mansa, and then the driver was making noise, talking a lot. His music was super loud. That was irritating me in the moment. But later on, I realized that was actually good for me, because I couldn't really hear my brother struggle to breathe. I couldn't really hear when, like, my mind at least was somehow protected from hearing exactly what was going on in the back with my brother.